That's right. It's the Old Warlock Podcast number 11.
11.
Welcome back again.
11.
Stop it.
Sorry.
But we're back again, 11 times. The view count on these is decreasing. I've noticed that.
Well, you know what part of the problem might end up being, and we had this pointed out to us by a podcast listener, is that we have 3 podcasts that we only released on video, YouTube, and we did not put them on podcast software, or podcast sites, our podcast sites.
Mm-hmm.
So are we really surprised that nobody's listening to the podcasts through
Well, I am.
Apple Podcasts or whatever else?
I'm not even talking about that. I just mean our YouTube views are decreasing.
Down to the trusted few.
Yeah, to the devoted.
Or the people who are just...
To our little warlocks.
They're not... Don't start with the little warlocks again. Or it's just that there are some people who aren't quite as... They're giving us the benefit of the doubt that we'll hopefully come back and do something interesting.
Yeah, they're hoping. It's not going to happen.
Probably not.
I feel like it's been a while since we've put out a podcast.
It has,
at least
because
compared to the videos. We've been releasing a lot more videos than we have podcasts. And that's fine. That's always been our goal.
Well, we recorded a whole bunch of them prior to our trip. Mm-hmm. And we released them. We had them go into automatic release, and so that's why it seems like it has. I mean, it has been a long time, but still, it hasn't been that long since we released one. Yeah,
it's been a good little while. So, hey, welcome back. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching the Gary Gygax video. We know that it's only because there were Gary Gygax search terms in the video title. That's why we got 1,800 views on that one.
Sadly, you're right.
Yeah. But
it's not because people are like, whoa, I want to hear what those warlocks have to say about Gary Gygax. It's like, oh, Gary Gygax. Let's see what these idiots have to say about
babe, look, the old warlock posted.
No.
Fire up the smart TV.
That's not what's happening.
No.
We both know that.
Yeah, but
we all know that.
We appreciate the support. I am a little bit offended that more of you didn't watch my favorite magical items video. That was poorly performing. And I thought I had good things to talk about in that one.
Well, you did.
It's just because I'm the least favorite warlock, isn't that right? You guys don't like me as much.
Didn't we have a poll about that at one point? Who was your favorite warlock? Or did we never go through with that?
I think we just talked about it because I didn't want to cry.
That's right. We did talk about increasing your depression if we had that kind of a vote.
Yeah, I think that there's 1 or 2 people that I know would vote for me.
You and your mother? Anyway, moving on. Now, one of the things we did ask people about was, do you like our directionless banter? And actually, a lot of people said that they watch it just because of
that's good.
The directionless banter.
Well, that's why people listen to podcasts.
Is it?
I feel like it is.
I always listen for content.
Well,
but I'm strange that way.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to agree with me.
If you're not learning, it's not fun.
Exactly. That is my standpoint.
Exactly.
It's always been my standpoint. You know that.
I know that. I was raised by you.
Learn, Alexander. Learn.
Learn.
Have fun now.
Open the book. Yeah. But let's think here. What's been going on? I personally, recently, what is today?
Today is Sunday.
It's the 22nd of January
2023.
When we're recording this. God knows when this is actually going to be released.
See, 2024.
Yeah. I have been a big fan. I watched the first episode of The Last of Us TV show.
Oh.
And I was a very big fan of that. And I'm sure that a lot of you, given the nature of what we discuss, may have played the video game The Last of Us. Or
no, I have not.
Well, no. But, nerd overlap, Comic-Con goers. I feel like there's a there's a good chance that some of you have played the game. The show is incredible.
I really have liked it so far. Mm-hmm. I was really surprised when the guy's daughter got killed.
Straight out of the gate.
Probably shouldn't have said that because you haven't seen it.
I wonder if we can bleep that out. Yeah.
I bet we could.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll bleep that part out.
Yeah, whatever may or may not have happened, or ever who may not have died. That didn't make any sense.
It really didn't, but that's okay.
Yeah.
But I was surprised. Let's put it this way: I was surprised at the character arc, or how some of the character arcs were cut short.
No, but that's good. I like that.
No, it is. It surprised me.
Well, I mean,
thought,
I don't think that it's it's not good, but it's good for story.
It is. But you know me. As I was watching this, I started to automatically think logistics. You know I do that. You don't shake your head like that.
Yeah, for those of you who are only listening on audio, I shook my head.
And he does that.
In derision.
And the thing is, he starts talking about logistics.
Not to the same degree that you do.
Well, no, but I
only do when it fits my purposes.
Well, that's not very good.
No, but continue.
Anyway, I love the show. Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to the release of the next episode, but already in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, all right, I hope they have explanations for how they continue to get gasoline in this world. I hope they have explanations for how they... Yeah, I mean, I need to have
they already
things logically explained.
They already have done that a little bit. They've opened the door to that.
Well, did they? And I may have misheard something. Did they talk at one point about how there's a place down in Georgia that is making medicine and gasoline?
Yeah, well, yeah, because I think that compared to most zombie things, I don't think the world is quite as far gone in this as it is in like The Walking Dead.
That's what it seems like to me.
And I think that they were, because when Pedro Pascal, who's a great actor, by the way,
he's good.
When he was doing a drug deal with that one guard initially, I think he said that like Atlanta was making OxyContin and bullets or something like that.
Here's something we should take a step back on though, and say, this is what this show is about.
Oh yeah, good idea.
Because The Last of Us it's based on a video game. Is it called The Last of Us?
Yeah,
is that the name
it's
of the
called
video?
The Last. It's a pretty old game. I've never played them because they're only on PlayStation. I don't have a PlayStation, but it's a zombie. It's basically a zombie game. But,
it's a zombie apocalypse game.
Yeah, and the zombies they're not like Walking Dead, come back from the dead zombies quite. There's like a fungus that's infected everybody,
which I liked.
Yeah, and they've turned into these they're not necessarily zombies, but they're just like these kind of creepy, weird monster things.
Well, I love the fact that they tied it into something real, in that there is a zombie fungus that will take over insects and
like
make them
ants
do things. Right.
And things like that. Yeah.
And they actually talk about that at the beginning of the show, and I thought, well, maybe they're going to base this show in logic, which I love to have. And so far, so good for me.
Yeah, no, it's very good so far. We absolutely, at least I definitely recommend that everybody goes and watch it.
Yeah, I think you should. It's a good watch.
The pacing is good. I'm just worried that they won't be able to keep it up.
My fear too.
Yeah, but Pedro Pascal, fantastic. The woman who is his girlfriend, I guess, in the show.
Whatever. Yeah, she's good.
She was in Mindhunter. For any of you who have watched Mindhunter, she was the professor who worked with the two FBI guys. But I digress.
Yeah, but she's very good.
Yeah, she's good. She's kind of cranky. I like her.
The girl.
Oh, the
girl that they have to get someplace.
Yeah.
I think she's actually very good too.
I don't know what her name is, but she's in Game of Thrones, I think.
No.
Yeah, she's either in Game of Thrones or she's in House of the Dragon for a little bit. But I saw like an article saying that her and Pedro Pascal had been in one of those together, because I know he's in Game of Thrones for a little while.
Okay. But yeah, she's very good too.
Yeah, but the whole thing's very good.
It's well done.
If you ever played Dying Light, the video game Dying Light, it reminds me a lot of that, and you haven't played Last of Us. It's kind of the same vibe.
It's good. Watch it.
Yeah, go check it out.
You'll enjoy it.
Other than that, I feel like we usually give like a television show recommendation now.
Do we?
Because we were talking about, what was the Star Wars one?
Andor.
Yeah, we talked about Andor a lot. Yeah. Now we're talking about this.
Yeah. We'll keep you going. We'll keep updating on that.
But this is a Dungeons and Dragons podcast at the end of the day. Well, not really, but we talk a lot about Dungeons and Dragons. And as such, we should probably talk about how we saw Dungeons and Dragons in our trip to Europe.
Yes, indeed. For a lot of you, you do know that the Warlocks decided to take a trip from very recently here, just a couple of weeks. In fact, we just got back about 10 days ago.
Yeah, 10 days ago.
We decided to take a trip from Rome all the way over to Barcelona.
Not to insinuate that we are from Rome, because if you can tell by the language we're speaking, no.
Hey, parlo italiano. Parlo un po' di italiano.
No entiendo, amigo.
Anyway, I do speak a little bit of Italian. He speaks a little bit of Spanish. I speak a little bit of Spanish.
Poquito.
We could have found our way to a restaurant.
Sure. ¿Dónde está el baño?
That's not a restaurant, but...
¿Dónde está la biblioteca?
Oh, yeah. Does the term ugly American step out here?
There were a few times where I felt like an ugly American, especially in France.
Well, but the thing is, actually we were treated very well all the way across. Nobody was.
No.
I mean, I got to be honest. I have run into some incredibly rude people in Paris, but this time all the way across southern France, people were great.
Yeah, we didn't go to Paris.
Yeah, but
granted, I feel like a lot of southern France relies on the
tourism,
Americans.
yeah, or just English speakers.
Yeah, anybody, yeah.
And it was funny because any time that I was even thinking about speaking Italian in Italy, they were like, "No, American, just don't waste our time."
They whipped out perfect English with like a British accent.
Let's just do the English thing, buddy, and get us through this quick as possible. Same thing in France.
That was something I noticed. Is a lot of the people who were speaking English, some of their words had British, like English twists to them, which makes sense. But
and I bet that they get a lot more English tourists than American tourists down there.
Proximity,
but anyway, but the point being, I have wanted to go to Rome my entire life,
Rome.
And I absolutely loved it. And there are a number of things that all across this trip that I wanted to end up seeing, and this is going to sound like super nerd geek boy. Yeah, I am. I know.
No.
I know.
Well,
go ahead.
The YouTube channel that talks about Dungeons and Dragons.
Wow, yeah.
On the internet.
I guess we kind of...
You don't need to clarify that.
We've already established those credentials.
Yeah, I think that anyone who's here can accept that they are a part of that community.
Okay, well, and the thing is, a lot of this trip, I really wanted to go and see things for inspiration for my campaign. And it started with the walls of Rome. And we put a couple of pictures up on our Instagram.
Yeah.
About just going and seeing these walls that were built in 275 AD, and when you come up with something in your role playing game,
yeah,
and you say, well, I want this city of this size people to have walls around it. Unless you've actually seen walls around a city that would have been that big, it's kind of hard to wrap your head around.
Yeah.
Which was why I really enjoyed going to Rome and seeing these walls and understanding how tall they were and how thick they were and what it would have been like to defend them, or equally important, to go up against them.
Yeah.
And then, toss in visiting the Roman Forum, which was great, but to me another great thing, and again I posted on Instagram for any of the listeners here who follow it, I posted about the Pantheon, which is to me the quintessential classic temple. And
pretty cool.
It's an awesome building, built by Hadrian, the Emperor Hadrian, and it's still
his wall.
Don't start with me. He's somebody's always annoyed because Emperor Hadrian is my favorite Roman emperor, and by some chance, Mr. over here looks a lot like sculptures of Hadrian. With his current hairstyle and his beard.
I need to grow the beard out more.
Not a lot, though. He kept it kind of trimmed short.
Kept it clean?
He kept it did. He was a little more flabby in the face. So,
I'll take it.
Give yourself 10 years and you'll be fine.
Gee, thanks.
You're welcome.
Can't wait to be
30. You've been mocking me since we started this.
You've got it coming.
I do not. Anyway, seeing the classical Roman temple, the Pantheon, which is in essentially its same form as it was when it was built by Hadrian, I want to say in 125 AD, was really cool as well. But then we moved on to some medieval towns.
And those were darn cool. Let me tell you what.
Just overwhelming almost. I mean, and again, we mentioned in the posts how jealous we are of people living in Europe that they can go and see these things by jumping in the car and driving 30 miles down the road.
Yeah.
Where we had to travel, 13 hours by plane just to get to the country, and then we had to travel
another
again.
13 hours back. Yeah.
But
not to say there's not good history here.
No, there's not. But it doesn't really apply to a fantasy role-playing game.
Well, no. I would have to agree. But, we went to a couple of really good places. The San Gimignano. Which was... I absolutely love that town. In Italy. That was something else. It's basically, it's like completely still walled in by its original medieval walls. There's not that many people who live in the town, but it's just in these original, like the buildings that were built when the town was first created. And it's got, 14 huge towers. 14 towers. I think it was 14. I think it was 14. There were originally 56 of these towers throughout the town when it was fully operational. Yeah, it was really in its heyday. Yeah, but there are still 14 of these massive stone towers that people just live in and have offices in and things like that. But they were built in like the 900s, something like that.
Yeah, well, and to me, another cool part about it was, above and beyond the fact that it's an amazing walled medieval town.
Yeah.
Was the fact that, the story that went behind it, that was on the pilgrimage route to get to Rome. And I started thinking, I don't have a lot of pilgrims in my RPG.
Oh, yeah.
Why not? Well, guess what we have now?
Pilgrims?
Pilgrims. I got to institute, this concept of pilgrimage. I've never really put that into my RPG, and I should have. And so I think that's going to become a new trend.
Yeah, religion has never played a huge role in your...
It has not.
At least not like massive organized religion.
Right. Well, I have had religious-driven wars. But just in terms of having daily life overseen by religion, no, I haven't really done a lot of that.
Yeah,
but
I think it has been historically in many places in the world.
But I think that I need to actually look into that. And am I going to do it across the entire world? No. But I think that there are going to be some places that are going to find religion, as it were.
Yeah.
And I just love this concept of pilgrimage sites, because the path that we followed across southern Europe was actually following this pilgrimage route. In part. In large part, though.
Yeah, yeah.
From Spain all the way to Rome. So, it was just, to me, there were so many different cool concepts that came out of this trip that I need to integrate into my campaign.
Yeah, we saw Monaco, Monte Carlo, not very applicable to medieval role-playing necessarily, but still, if you're playing top secret, sure, why not?
I didn't even,
Yeah, very James Bondy. Well, they were playing the James Bond music to try and get everybody in the mood, but that's a town that you have to, oh my goodness, you have to see it in order to understand. Yeah. It's so different. Like, I don't know what any of your guys' lives are like, but unless any of you are multi-billionaires, you would also feel out of place in this city.
Well, we did go to, this is not D&D related at all, but we went to the main casino there. And that was mainly James Bond was filmed here.
Yeah.
And just walking up the steps to go inside was very much a, wow, I do not belong here.
Yeah, there's guards all over the place for, protecting the billionaires, and
keeping out the riffraff.
Yeah, and keeping out, and none of them seemed really thrilled that we were there, because they knew we weren't going to spend that much money at the casino. Right. But
they knew we were there to take some photos, buy something in the gift shop.
Yeah, and that's about it. But it was cool to see, especially if you've seen James Bond, or if you like Formula One or anything like that. It's a cool.
True, and we did get to see.
We got to drive over the starting line for the Monaco Grand Prix,
which was cool,
and that was neat. That was cool for me.
Although, but I do have to say, for those of you who are, well, actually your age as well, but any of you who are Grace Kelly fans, we did get to go see the final resting place of Grace Kelly, and that was kind of it wasn't a cool thing, but it was something I've wanted to do.
It was a good thing to see.
It was a good thing to see.
She's one of our favorite actors of all time. Huge fan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway. So that was good. But then we saw Carcassonne.
Oh, jeez.
In France, and that put San Gimignano to shame.
Carcassonne is one of the coolest places.
Yeah, if you ever played the game called Carcassonne, this is the town that it is loosely based off of, I guess.
Yeah,
but it is like we were saying. San Gimignano is a medieval town surrounded by walls. This is a medieval town surrounded by walls. The whole thing is just a castle. Like these towering stone walls.
And then there's the castle within the castle.
Actual castle inside the city.
To me, that really captured my idea of what a walled medieval city
is supposed to look like. Yeah.
But it was great. I absolutely loved it.
It was very cool. There's a neat cathedral in there, but yeah, everything was in incredible condition. It's been repaired, obviously, over the years, but
it's still largely.
It was in its original shape and what it looked like, and a lot of the repairs were just structural. They weren't like.
Yeah, they did some work on the tops of the walls.
They repaired some of the roofs of the towers, things like that.
But for the most part, it's still what it was.
Yeah.
Great place. Again, on the pilgrimage route, as I recall.
I think that's why it was built.
Could be. I don't remember. But also it's an important site in one of the Crusades, against Christian sects.
Yeah.
Which, again, great history. Again, to take that history and drop it into your campaign, great idea.
Something akin to it.
Yep.
No. Yeah, it was a, if any of you ever get the chance to go there, it was...
Go. Just
it's just a stereotype. It's everything you could ever picture about medieval wall.
Fantastic church.
Huge cathedral. Very cool cathedral.
Just really cool.
Yeah. What else do we see?
We just a lot of flavor for... We did capture we did go to a lot of cathedral-y things.
Yeah.
And when we went to Barcelona, we weren't there long enough, as far as I'm concerned.
No, Barcelona was very cool.
I wish that we had stayed a few more days.
That was our last stop to go and see that. And that was... my expectations, no offense to anybody who's from Barcelona or Spain, my expectations for Barcelona were not super high compared to some of the other things we were going to see. But that was neat.
We were wrong.
Yeah, that was really cool.
I wish that I had... and my problem is I didn't do enough research before we left to know exactly what there was to see in Barcelona, but we already had our plane tickets to go home, so we couldn't stay any longer.
Yeah,
but we could have spent another couple of days just in Barcelona.
Easily.
It was great.
Yeah. So go to Europe if you are European, which a lot of you are.
That's very true. In fact, we heard from a gentleman just a week after we got back, and he was from France, and he said, "Yeah, really like your stuff. It's a lot of fun." Mm-hmm. And I said, "Oh, hey, we were just in France," and then I heard almost immediately back from him, and he said, "Wait, you were in Marseille?"
Marseille, yeah.
And I said, "Yeah." He said, "That's where I live." And he was disappointed that we didn't have the opportunity to
say howdy.
Stop by and say, "Hey, let's go get a cup of coffee," because that would have been so cool.
That would have been very neat,
to be able to do that. But great guy, and he's got some very interesting comments about that we'll be addressing not in this podcast but in another one about the development of D&D in France.
Yes. So. But yeah, if you are European, which again, good percentage of you are, shockingly high percentage of you are, congratulations.
We wish we were you.
We wish we were you because we can both only speak one language. And you can probably speak 4 or 5.
Hey, parlo italiano, okay?
We can both only speak one language. And...
I think that you're disdainful of my foreign language skills.
Well, listen, man, we were in Italy for like 4 days, and I didn't hear you say a thing.
But you know what?
In Italian. You could pronounce the gelato flavors. But other than that, you weren't going up. You were, hello, I would like some cinnamon.
The thing is, and you and I talked about this, that I've got a reasonable control of the language, but I'm wasting their time if I try and stumble through it in a conversation. Well, it's the look. They're running a business.
It's the look on their face that always cracks me up.
Really, buddy? Don't even try. Let's just do the English thing, and then you can move on, and I can get somebody else up to the counter, and I can sell them something. So
yeah, and it cracked me up when they knew that we were Americans.
Yeah,
they came up and they're like, there wasn't even an attempt to speak French, Italian, Spanish, any of it. It was just like, oh, hey, how you doing? You want a sandwich? Like, yes.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, is that $5? I mean,
wait, what's that thing you guys use? Euro.
$4.60. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah, that was fun. I did get yelled at by a French woman. That was weird.
We still don't know why.
By an elderly French woman.
But she had a big smile on her face and she was yelling at you.
She wasn't like angry for any reason, but we were just standing there listening to the tour guide talk about something, and she just kind of came up behind me and like tapped me on the shoulder, and as she was walking away, she was like da-da-da-da-da-da-da, gesturing a lot, and she like punched her own hand, and I was like, what?
I don't know if she was threatening him or not. Threatening him or not.
Yeah, she might have been. I have no idea, and I will wonder about what she was saying for literally the rest of my life.
And for just so you guys know, when we go places, I stand 6'2". I'm the short one of the bunch.
Yeah, we're a tall family,
and I think that's a reflection. Zachary is 6'5", 6'6".
He's up there.
He might even be 6'7". I don't know. With his tennis shoes on,
he's pushing 6'7".
Yeah, he's 6'7", and I think that she may have just been making a joke about how we were all freakishly tall.
Baloncesto.
yeah. So
no,
I don't know.
No, it was an interesting time.
But it was fun. It was a really great trip. I look forward to doing another one in a similar vein.
Yeah, and for any of Americans who are watching, or Canadians, or Latin Americans, or Southern Americans, or anybody else who's not from Europe, go check it out.
Go there.
It's pretty cool.
Get the chance, go.
And European Union Tourism Committee.
If you want
a sponsorship, fire away.
We're looking to sponsor somebody.
We would love to help you out.
We're gonna
need a translator.
But we will just be speaking to English speakers about our great trip.
Yeah.
And so they don't even need to. They just need to give us money.
I would say they'd send someone British, but they can't do that anymore.
I guess it's true.
It's a sore spot. Sorry, guys.
That's true. What else have we got going on? We were going to talk about.
In terms of
how long have we been babbling?
Somewhere around 25 minutes.
We better pick up the pace.
Yeah, we've been kind of cranking through it here.
We were going to talk about another thing in my campaign.
Yep.
And that was the haunted lakes.
Haunted lakes. Guess what those are?
Two components of this.
Mm-hmm.
There's
ghosts.
There are lakes.
Yeah.
And they are haunted.
Yeah. They're scary places.
So
I don't like it there.
The haunted lakes, and again, this is just us talking. People have asked to hear more about my campaign, so here we go.
There we go.
The haunted lakes, that was actually on my original drawing, my original map, my starting map. I started with 4 countries, way back in the day.
Yes.
And the haunted lakes were one of those components. They're one of my original components. So this goes back to 78.
When Jim was 15.
Yeah, I think it was. But the haunted lakes have evolved over time. Math skills. The haunted lakes have evolved over time as I've added more and more lore and layers of history onto it. Mm-hmm. But really what the haunted lakes ended up being, and you guys traveled there because as part of that big campaign where you were dealing with
Shargan
and Masma.
I can't remember if we talked about this in the podcast or just a video, but we've talked about this big campaign before.
It was we talked about it in your favorite magic
items. Yeah.
But the haunted lakes, the reason that they are haunted lakes is not because a lot of people died there. The reason that they are the haunted lakes is because the spirits that inhabit those lakes now, and this is a big area. This is not like, a 10 square mile area. This is a large location.
Yeah.
The reason that the spirits ended up there is not because there was a war or there was a famine and plague or whatever else. The spirits were actually led there because a character by the name of Limpos, who is part of the campaign you guys took part in, he was a very powerful magic user from way back, and he also represented the concept of law.
He did.
In that campaign that you guys were playing. And in the course of this rivalry between the representative of law and the representative of chaos and the representative of good and the representative of evil.
They each had their own cult.
They did, and they were constantly, all of them were vying for authority and power centuries and centuries ago. Mm-hmm. But Limpos, it wasn't just, you will follow all the rules. He was, he also had just a regular personality at the same time.
Yeah.
And one of his other 3 opponents, at one point in time, was responsible for the deaths of thousands of people. Mm-hmm. And the issue was, these deaths were not random. The deaths were caused because this opponent of Limpos, he wanted to have them to be an undead army for him.
Yeah.
And so Limpos, being who he was, saw this as being unlawful, if you will. And he led all the souls of those people who had been slaughtered to the haunted lakes and set up protections there, which he had to oversee in order to protect them from becoming an army of undead.
Yes.
Because he was precluded from, based on the events that took place, he was precluded from, the spirits were precluded from moving on to their next stage.
Yes.
And so they were trapped on the prime material plane, but he didn't want them to be tortured in such a way by his opponent, and so he took them and protected them from then on, and they've been there ever since. Because he died, and he was unable to assist these souls into moving on. And so the souls still reside in the haunted lakes until someone releases them and allows them to move on to their destiny.
Yeah, someone should probably do that.
Someone should get on that.
Mm-hmm. Sounds dangerous, though. No, I think that is...
High adventure means nothing to him.
he's just being mean.
I am.
Yeah.
Actually, he really likes that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I would like to do that because that would be a cool adventure. But I've got other priorities with that character right now. But it was concerning, I think, when we went in there for the first time, because anything that's called that, if you've watched our video on the undead and how we think the undead ought to function in Dungeons & Dragons, we think that they should be pretty dangerous. And as such, Captain Danger over here likes to make things very dangerous.
I'm not Captain Danger, I'm Captain Deadly.
Yeah, and so we were a bit nervous, shall we say, to go in there for the first time, but we weren't even attacked by anything. We made our way through, and I think that was just luck in part.
No, it was not.
No?
No, it's because they are not vindictive, spiteful undead.
That's fair.
That's the reason why.
Yeah, and I like to avoid vindictive, spiteful undead at all costs.
They are pretty much everywhere else in the world, but in that location they are not.
Yeah, just because of the story.
Right.
And why they ended up there.
Yes.
But, we got a pretty cool boat out of the Haunted Lakes that can, like, move across any terrain as if it's water, basically, and that's pretty neat. I don't even know where that is right now.
It's back there.
Yeah, we put it back, didn't we? We didn't take
because
it.
You guys were afraid that you would upset the apple cart if you kept any of the things that were available in Limpos
Which
Tower.
is a reasonable decision.
No, I think it's perfectly reasonable.
Yeah.
And it's actually a good decision.
Which sucks because I want that boat. It was very cool. It was just a magical boat that really you didn't need to do anything to have it move. You just told it where to go, and it would go there. It was so cool. It was really neat.
And it was also fully armed and
it had
fully stocked.
Was that the campaign where it would make food?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, such a cool item. But yeah, we found that. But yeah, we had a pretty good adventure based out of there, and we went all across the continent with that boat and did all kinds of cool things. But I think that goes to show that even in the monster manuals, whatever it may be, where there are specific rules governing how certain things operate, like undead, if that doesn't make sense in your world, then you shouldn't have to follow those rules. Right. We don't think. Like in the monster manual, it says that ghosts are always chaotic evil. Is it chaotic?
Chaotic or is it lawful?
I don't know.
They're evil.
Yeah, they're evil in some capacity. I think it's chaotic, but I'm not sure. But yeah, and that doesn't, based on that storyline, that doesn't make sense. It makes sense that they're just neutral or whatever, good or whoever they may have been in life. They're that same person when they're dead. And I think that makes sense because of the story.
Now, that's not to say that, and I agree with you 100%, that that's, based on the story, that's going to dictate how the ghosts ended up, or how the ghosts ended up where they are, that's going to dictate how they behave.
Yeah.
That's not to say that I don't have some really evil ghosts in my campaign.
Some really
I do.
Bad guys, yeah.
But in this particular case, it didn't fit the story that I was putting together for these guys to help me flesh out, and so it ended up being what it is.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a cool place in the world that I probably won't return to for a while, but it's a neat little pocket of storyline that, again, with the different layers that have been built into the world, there's a lot of history in that specific area that we got to uncover a little bit of.
Yeah, and you need to talk to John about his experience in the Haunted Lakes back in 1980.
Oh, okay.
Because they ended up going there, and it was a totally different experience for them because you'll just have to talk to him about it.
All right. Hi, John.
Hey.
I'm sure you're probably watching. I appreciated those pictures you took of me at work.
John, Alexander was giving tours at a
tour guide at a historic site.
And so John showed up and surreptitiously took photographs.
Well, I think that you thought they were surreptitious. Some of them actually were. I didn't see you take some of them, but there were a couple where I was like posing a little bit because I wanted to look.
Because that's what he does.
Yeah. I'm a very vain person.
He's a poser.
But
we must move on.
We must move on because we are really cranking through the tiempo here.
Oh, man. Okay, so anyway, Haunted Lakes, cool place. If you want to know more about it, let me know.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing that we'll probably be wanting to talk about in our Patreon when we get that up and rolling.
Yes, that's right.
If you want expanded information about things like that, that's where you'll find it. Or you'll be able to ask for it.
First mention of the Patreon that we've had so far in this particular episode of the Old Warlock. Be sure to keep your eyes open for that because we're going to be offering a lot of exclusive content, a lot of new things, exclusive videos, podcasts, perhaps live streams for certain levels of patronage.
Well, a little insight into the creation process.
Yeah, to what we do. Maybe some blooper reels, some behind the scenes, all that good stuff.
A lot of blooper reels. God, we could do that for...
Okay. Yeah, so be sure to keep your eyes open for that sometime soon.
Yes.
Early 2023.
But let's do 2 spells and then we'll call it a day.
2 spells? we're going to call it.
And in this case, we are using...
Random spells.
Random spells, yes. We are using the Advanced Dungeons & Dragons Volume 1 of the Priest's Spell Compendium. And this is the first time we've talked from this. You're very tired today, aren't you? You just can't keep the old eyes open.
I'm such
burning the candle at both ends.
I'm such a party animal. I was up until like 9:30 last night.
Wow. See, it's going to catch up to you.
I know.
Okay, I'm going to do the Priest Spell Compendium.
Fire away.
Random spell. Let's see.
Drum roll.
Open it, and I point here. Okay, let's see what this one's going to be. This is the Dance of the Unicorns spell. This is an alteration that takes place in combat. Wow.
As soon as you said that, I had the urge to impersonate what I thought the Dance of the Unicorns would be.
I'm really glad you didn't.
But I pushed back against that intrusive
I'm glad you fought that down. This is a... Now I got an image of the Dance of the Unicorns. Man, that's ruined my afternoon. Okay.
You like that one.
Yeah, so this is a level 5 spell, and again, this is a priest spell.
Yeah.
The range is touch, verbal, somatic, and other components. Casting time is 8. Duration is 6 rounds. Area of effect, 1 sentient being. So I imagine you can cast this and make somebody do the Dance of the Unicorns.
Yeah.
This spell is a priestly variant of the 7th level wizard spell Teleport Without Error and the 3rd level wizard spell Blink. Once per round, by silent act of will, the recipient of the spell can teleport without error with a range of 360 yards.
It's a long way. It's 3.6 football fields.
The recipient can take American football fields. We have a lot of Europeans who are watching, thank you.
Sorry. Football, not football.
Just leave it? Let's just leave it and move on. The recipient can take a maximum weight of 250 pounds plus 150 pounds for each level of the casting priest above 10th level. The teleportation effect can occur at the end of the round or at a random time during the round. In the latter case, the spell operates identically to a blink spell, but the range and direction are chosen by the spell recipient. The material components for this spell are a small vial of clear, fresh water from a river or stream stirred by a unicorn with its horn and the priestess's holy symbol. This was granted by Luru, the unicorn queen of Forgotten Realms. I was expecting it to be much more interesting and amusing.
I also was expecting. I feel like that may have been one of the writers for one of the Forgotten Realms books came up with this, and this is a reference to them, because it seems like there's a lot of things like that in these.
Yes.
No, the Dance of the Unicorns I was picturing more, you cast it on someone, and they have to do the Dance of the Unicorns for like 3 rounds or something, and then you can just stab them.
Or they become a wildly successful fighter while doing the Dance of the Unicorns. Kind of like sword dance.
Like spinning around, yeah.
You know, holding the sword up to your head and then doing some...
running at people.
Things. Yeah. Anyway, Dance of the Unicorns, not terribly impressed. It's basically a teleportation spell.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. Yeah, I'm a little disappointed in that one.
Here, why don't you do a magic?
Mine will be better, don't worry.
I hope so.
Drum roll.
No place to go up after the Dance of the Unicorns. I think that's going to be part of our lexicon. Whoa.
It's a big one. The Wand of Wonder.
Yeah, okay. Where's that from? Is it list?
Dungeon Master's Guide.
That's what I thought. Yeah, this is something from the DM's Guide.
Yeah. It has an experience point value of 6,000, a gold piece value of 10,000. That's a lot of cash. The Wand of Wonder is a strange and unpredictable device that generates any number of unusual effects randomly each time it is used. I like that. The usual effects are shown on the table below, but you may alter these for any or all of these wands in your campaign as you see fit. Possible functions of the wand include... We're going to go through all these because why not? Slow creature. These are basically 1 to 10.
It's percentage.
Yeah, it's a percentage roll. Slow creature pointed at for 1 turn. Deludes wielder for 1 round into believing the wand functions as indicated by a second die roll.
Or they're deluded into thinking that they have to do the Dance of the Unicorns.
The Dance of the Unicorns. Gust of wind, double force of the spell. Stinking cloud at 30-foot range. Heavy rain falls for 1 round and 60-foot radius of the wand wielder. Summon animal. Then you roll again. Rhino, elephant, or mouse. I like that. That's funny. Lightning bolts, 70 by 5 feet as wand. Stream of 600 large butterflies pour forth and pour forth and flutter around for 2 rounds, blinding everyone, including the wielder.
Wow.
Enlarge target if within 60 feet of the wand. Darkness in a 30-foot diameter hemisphere centered at the 30-foot distance from the wand. Grass grows in an area of 160 square feet before the wand, or grass existing there grows to 10 times normal size. Wow. Vanish any non-living object of up to 1,000 pounds mass and up to 30 cubic feet in size. Object is ethereal. Diminish wand wielder to 1/12 of height. Fireball as wand. Invisibility covers wand wielder. Leaves grow from target if within 60 feet of wand. 1d4 gems of 1 gold piece base value shoot forth in a 30-foot long stream, each causing 1 point of damage to any creature in path. Roll 5d4 for number of hits. Wow. Shimmering colors. Dance and play over a 40 by 30-foot area in front of the wand. Creatures therein blinded for 1d6 rounds. Flesh to stone, or reverse if target is stone, if target is within 60 feet. The wand has 1 use as 1 charge per function. It may not be recharged. Where applicable, saving throws should be made.
That's one heck of a wand.
That's a
always
fun
has
one.
been.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
I like that quite a bit. It just adds some variety.
Yeah, that's a good weapon. I would be more than happy to have people have that available.
Get into a bad
number
situation.
Of charges.
Boom!
Yeah.
And you just
give them 5 charges. Let them know what they end up using.
Yeah.
What's available. See if they save it. See if they use it. When they use it. That could be a lot of fun.
No, I think that's a good one. I like having a little desperate magic item, desperate situation magic item that you can use.
That's right. Yeah, death is winging its way quickly toward you.
But time to shoot some butterflies.
That's right. Hit it with butterflies.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, well, that's cool.
Yeah, that's a good one. That
really
makes up for the dance of the unicorns.
Well, and I remembered when you said it, I was like, yeah, I think that's in the DM's guide.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had anybody have one, but it's still it is an absolutely great object as far as I'm concerned.
It's a lot of fun. Well, I think that just about wraps this one up. This actually might be a little bit longer of a podcast than usual. We got an email from somebody to the Old Warlock. Thank you for sending us an email.
I don't think it's related to this podcast.
No, it's not at all. But actually, it's our manager.
Wait, what?
No, I'm just kidding. Thank you for tuning in.
Yes, thank you for tuning in, for bearing with us. We're enjoying a lot of your comments. Our comments are really taking off, which is great.
Yeah, it's fantastic. But we're having a tough time responding.
Yeah, I mean, we're doing what we can. So it's not.
We're not ignoring you intentionally.
Really not. We are not.
Unless you say something inappropriate, then we will ignore you.
Which no one really has done for a long time.
That's only happened a couple times.
But we enjoy hearing the comments. We've got a lot of stuff happening here. We will be switching over to Patreon, where we will have exclusive content for you. Look for that in the next couple of weeks, or it might be available by the time this goes live. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Just check or send us an email or something if you need more information. But aside from that,
if you look in the description below, if it says Patreon,
it's
been launched. If it's not, then
that's a good idea.
So yeah, keep your eyes open for that. We've got a couple other projects we're going to be putting out here soon.
Very soon.
Some big things we've been working on
for us.
Very hard. Yeah. So keep your eyes open for that as well. That's about it.
I think
Follow us on
Instagram.
Instagram.
I'm Jim.
I'm Alex.
Keep that sword on free.
Toodaloo.
Bye-bye.